In Module 1, there was a link to a video called A Vision of Today's Students. It visualized what type of students are in the classroom today. Since many of the students are constantly interacting with technology everywhere except the classroom, I hope you saw ways that CALL could make education more meaningful for today's students. Let's take a moment to discuss education needs today as opposed to in the past. Education needs are changing faster than education styles. Does that make sense? Do you agree with that? During the industrial age, workers were expected to learn everything they needed to know before starting the job. Yes, they would receive some on-the-job training, such as which button to push or where to stack manufactured items and how to run the machines especially, but essentially they were expected to be knowledgeable before arriving at work. However, in our current information age, guess what's most important? The information and knowing how to find the information. Workers are expected to process large amounts of information on the job and develop the knowledge needed to solve problems or make decisions. It's not like someone is telling them this is how you solve the problem. They're expected to figure it out themselves. It's no more about what you know. It's about what you can find out and what you do with what you discover. More than ever, businesses are dissatisfied with the new college graduates they hire and find the need to train them in areas like critical thinking, problem solving, teamwork, collaboration, creativity, cultural understanding, and communication using technology. Take a minute to think about the education you have received and are receiving. Are the skills that we just mentioned, problem solving, teamwork, creativity, communication, are those skills being taught to you? Are they being taught by you? So if you are currently a teacher, are you incorporating those skills? I know there are standards, but are there ways to incorporate creativity, collaboration, and problem solving into the standards? I am a big believer that technology is the tool that helps do that, helps us incorporate those skills, helps us introduce our students to the necessary skills for the information age. Information in general has been changing. The amount of information available in the world is increasing at mind-boggling speeds. Within the 12 years of traditional schooling, the amount of information students have available to them will quadruple. There is no way for educators to know everything and sort through all the important information, just as there is no way to force learners to memorize all of that information. I remember there was a big discussion back when I was in junior high school because they were changing a lot of our elementary school textbooks. And a lot of the older generation were upset because George Washington and Abraham Lincoln no longer would get one full complete page each in the textbook. Now they were limited to a half page each. And probably if you look today in today's textbook, they're probably down to a paragraph each. Well, it makes sense to me. We have so much more information coming in that we need to make room for it all in the textbooks, or not all of it, but we need to make room in the textbooks for more information. But by the same token, we need to understand that if we want them to learn more about George Washington or they want to learn more, all they have to do is to put it into Google and do a search on it. So we are at a point in our society where it is much more important to know how to search for information than it is to have it memorized. Okay, did you get that? It's much more important to know how to search for information than to have it memorized. So our jobs as teachers is helping students learn how to learn. Help students learn how to learn, and that will make them productive members of the workforce for the rest of their lives. So they won't have to be worried about being downsized because their job is obsolete or their job is old. Language learning that incorporates CALL as a tool and applies the optimal conditions for language learning and makes learning active instead of passive will prepare our students for future educational needs.